But I know that all of the Clemson Nation, everybody's excited to get back out on the field. Our players are ready to get back to work on the field. You know, everybody's been grinding since January. There's always a little bit of a misconception. It's like, okay, we're beginning right now, but we're really not beginning right now. We're heading into the third phase of our journey. You know, as we break our year down into 4 phases, this is for our players the third phase, and for our coaches. So, you know, we get ready, we transform, then we head into prime time. And so there's been a lot of work going on, but this is the fun part, because we get a chance to get back on the field and start playing some games. Everybody's got a visual in their mind of that team last year, because we haven't played a game since then. But this is a very different team, and everybody's ready to turn the page. And until you play a game, it's hard to do that, I think, for a lot of our fans. So August 29th will be here before you know it. We got a lot of work to do with this team. We got a lot of work. We're a true work in progress, but it's been a good summer. You know, the guys have really handled themselves well. The leadership and the accountability has been excellent. Injury-wise, we're in a good spot. I think we've got a couple of guys that y'all have known about that are working their way back. Brighton Constantine's just getting in here, and he's coming off an injury. Amari, probably the only guy you don't know about is Logan Cash. He's got a back injury. He's going to have a procedure done. So he's probably going to be not true football ready till later in the season. So he's a guy we'll wear red shirt and get him healthy and take our time with him. But he's the only one right now that would be in the category that something you didn't know about. But he'll be okay. Something we got to do and work our way back with him. But a young player, got a lot of football left in front of him. But other than that, everybody's excited, ready to go. Niles has had a great summer. Jordan's had a great summer. Those guys are eager to get back out on the field and they've been leaders off the field. Now they're ready to go be leaders on the field. And so, in a weird way, it was a blessing in disguise that they didn't go through spring, because we had a chance to just really just kind of throw those guys in the fire, those young guys, and they grew a lot from it. So going to be a fun camp to try to figure it all out. But I think our team is a team that can compete for the league, and that's what we shoot for every year. It's never a goal to win a national championship. You've heard me say that many times. Those are all those type of things come through staying focused on the goals that we have in our program. And but I do think this team, when it's all said and done, will be a team that can compete for the league. And if you can compete for the league, you got a chance for lots of other opportunities. But that's always our focus, and won't be any different this year.
You used the term last night about having to keep your hand on the wheel a little bit more with this team. Could you just kind of address the differences of coaching this younger team as opposed to the veteran league team last year?
Yeah, it's different. Just because if you look at our roster, we have 120 on the roster, and 80 of them are freshmen and sophomores, and then 40 of them are juniors and seniors. So there's just, you have to train a little different in the summer because there's just a lot to teach. And I was just telling Kelly and Kwok over there, it's our job to meet them where they are. It's not their job to come to us. I mean, we've got to meet them where they are in their developmental process, as a person, as a player, strength conditioning, whatever it may be. And so when you have a team like this, then it's got to be a little more coach-led in certain cases. That team last year, we just, just kind of bump them here or there, to keep them on target. But it's great when you have unbelievable, 30-something guys that aren't here anymore. That's a lot of guys to roll off a roster. Most seniors we've had, and they were so committed, unbelievable leaders, and they had complete ownership of our program. And to have a guy like Clee teaching Xavier Thomas and KJ and Maskell and these guys that rolled in here last year, like, hey, they have a very clear picture. So they're young, they're sophomore, but they have a clear picture of what it looks like. So that's still here. Now a lot of those guys have to go do it. And so as coaches, we've got to. They're still young, and so we have to kind of keep our hand on the wheel a little bit and make sure that we kind of steer the course a little more with a young team.
Left tackle, you lost a very talented guy there. Do you get a sense that maybe Jackson is that guy to move in? I know there's still camp to come. Do you think maybe it might take a rotation of a couple of guys at least early on, maybe to feel that really important?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's to be determined. I personally believe that Jackson is ready, eager. He's had a great summer. Last year, this time he was trying to figure it all out. It's just grind, and there's just so much accountability. There's a lot these guys have to go through, and his maturity level, his understanding. He's got a very clear picture in his head now of what camp looks like, what the season looks like. Same thing. Just like I was talking about Clee. He had Mitch Hyatt to watch every day. How he practiced, how he met, how he took care of his body, how he responded to coaching, how he responded to success, adversity, whatever it may have been. So he's got a very clear picture in his mind. But athletically, and football skill-wise, he can be great. I mean, he's really a special talent, and so I think he's eager to go prove that he can lock it down. But yeah, we got all kind of options. Ankrum can play left. John can play left. Blake Vincent had a really good spring for us. So we've got a lot of flexibility up front, but it's certainly going to start with Jackson. And I don't have any doubt that he'll seize the moment.
With Amari, do you have a timetable yet for when he might?
No, that's all Danny Poole and all those guys, and just really kind of where he is. I think those injuries are so individual. I mean, you look at a guy like Deshaun Watson, for example, and he had his first one. He came back and won a national championship. He had his second one. He came back and made All-Pro. So, and I think his body responded well, and then obviously he put the work in. And I will say this: Amari has been phenomenal, and I would say he's definitely ahead of probably where most people would be, and is doing really well. He's running straight ahead. I think they'll start letting him cut here soon, but no real timetable. It just I think he's hopeful. We're all hopeful that maybe he'll be back sometime in September. That'd be awesome, but there's no set like he'll be back at this time. When he's back, he's back. The good news is he will be back, and he'll be better than ever, no doubt.
You have so many weapons on offense, but how much will the loss of Braden Galloway impact your passing game?
Well, Braden was a freshman last year. We had high hopes for him this year, so it's hard to say that that's going to impact us a lot because he really it's not like having. It's not like saying, okay, T was here last year, now T's not here. So we can't really say we've lost anything because, he hadn't done it yet. We had high hopes, that for what he could have done this year, but it's a lot of opportunity for JC. He's the next guy, and this is a big moment for him to step up and be the contributor that we need him to be at that position. But we got a lot of options. I mean, we got Jalen Lay who's here. We got excited to see if he's taking a step. Davis just got here this summer. See where he is. Luke Price is a guy we moved over, and JL. So we got guys. We'll figure it all out. But we've also got a bunch of wideouts that we can just roll another one of them guys out there on third down. I don't think you really trick a lot of people on third down. When everybody knows you're throwing the ball. So we did some of that last year toward the latter part of the season. We did not a lot, but we did a little more 10 personnel, and so we'll have plenty of options when it comes to throwing the football. To me, the bigger thing is just the depth at the position. Losing a quality young talent like him for this year, you just have to look at it like an injury. He's out for the year, and he's going to have a couple years after that. And hopefully, when his story is all written, he'll be that great player that we think he can be.
Do you know if he can be back for the playoff?
Well, boy, I like how you think. Man, it'd be great to be in the playoff. You know, I think so. I think it's sometime in December when that time is up. So if we're fortunate enough to be in a high level postseason game that's after middle of December, if we're playing early December, we probably didn't have a very good year, but he would have the opportunity, I think, to be back for that.
Coach, through the last 3 national championships, how do you talk to your players about handling pressure and expectations on a national stage?
Yeah, it's just a part of our culture. It's every day in what we do. You know, stay humble, stay hungry. You got to show up every day with something to prove. You know, whether you're picked to win, well, you got something to prove. If you're that good, well, you better go prove it. Or if you're picked to stink, and you don't think you stink, well, you got something to go prove. And so I think that's just a mindset that you have to have all the time, that you have something to prove and you have to start over. Every single year you have to start over. There's no guarantees. And so for us, it just starts in our messaging, how we talk to our players. When we start over in the spring, it's our strength conditioning program, how we work and grind through that. And just no entitlement, you know. I mean, you have to earn everything. That's how we do it in our program. That's the way it is in real life, and you know, that's the way it is on the football field.
Dabo, you mentioned Davis Allen. Could you talk about some of the other mid-year guys that showed up this summer?
Mid-years or the summer guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, Levante is here. We got some backers that showed up: McGuire, Kane, Levante, all rolled in here, and Brighton's coming off an injury. So 4 really good-looking young players right there. Haven't had a chance to be on the field with them or anything like that, but just like where they are physically, like their demeanor. They hadn't been here that long, but they've had a good focused summer to this point.
You have a chance to look at Jalen Phillips yet?
Oh yeah. Jalen is had a good. Joey talked yesterday. Kind of went through all those guys, and he's about his business guy. He's a very focused young player. He's a guy that we think has some versatility to his game. Will give us some options defensively. But we just got to get out on the field with them and see where they are. You just never know. But they're all working hard. They've all been in the playbook. They've been meeting and watching tape and learning and trying to get ahead on the installation, kind of shorten that learning curve a little bit before we get out on the field with them. So it's a good group. Andrew Booth's another guy that showed up here. He's a guy that we've been anticipating getting here as well. And so we had most of the guys were mid-years. 17 guys came in January, so those guys are all better, bigger, stronger, in a different place mentally. And then those guys that just got here are really excited, to get going.
When it comes to, bumper car coaching versus more on the wheel coaching, does it take a different skill set, or is it just more of the same activity from a coach but more hands-on?
I think, I don't know about skill set or anything. I just think as a coach, you just have to always have the pulse of your team. And, and part of that is understanding the maturity of your team. And sometimes it's maybe you just getting with the leaders of your team and saying, hey, here's some things that we need, and challenging them and giving them opportunities to lead a little bit. And then there's some times as a coach where, even last year, we probably won the championship one day in practice last year. It was one of those days, and it was time for me to step in, and I did, and it was a long day. But when we walked off the field, we were a different team, and so even though you have a veteran group, there's still times where you gotta, all right, this is what's needed in this moment. And I think as a coach, you have to just kind of balance that regardless. But certainly when you have a younger team, you have to be patient. More patient because there's just certain things they don't know, they don't understand, and you have to teach. It's no different than parenting. My conversations with my 16-year-old is very different than they were when he was 9, or 10. So it's no different. when you're dealing with a football team.
Coach, I think a lot of fans might have been worried about Shaq Smith transferring, but you feel pretty good about Skowski and Smith and those guys you have.
Oh yeah. Shaq, didn't see that coming, but it's what he felt like he needed to do, and wish him well. I mean, he was model in every aspect of our program, so certainly hate to lose him, but that doesn't damper our spirits for who we have at the linebacker position. I mean, we are. I personally think that this could be as good a back seven as we've had. I just really am excited about the personnel that we have. We'll have a little younger depth at linebacker, but I think we're athletic. I think we've got guys that can run, guys that know how to play the game, and it's going to be a really good group. But Isaiah and Skowski and Chad, that's a pretty good starting point to go out there. And Skowski's one of those guys that the football world, y'all know who he is, but the football world didn't really know who Skowski is. But if he stays healthy, they will. He is a really good football player, and it's just a matter of time before everybody knows that. And just again, him catching some breaks and staying healthy. Jake Venables, Jake had as good a spring as anybody on our team. He's a redshirt freshman, and Jake can play. He'll be a guy that'll be in the mix. Mike Jones is really coming along. Balin Spector, super excited about Balin. And then you throw in all these new guys. Reagan Upshaw's a guy nobody here knows anything about. He'll be a redshirt junior. He's a guy that never played football until he came here, and he was like a world-class rugby player. And he's been grinding in our program. He's actually on scholarship, but he's a kid that could get in the mix for sure. And then again, you throw in these young guys that we have. It's going to be fun to watch Brent kind of mold that group. But I love the group that we have. I think we got everything we need to be very successful there.
Dabo, the guys on defense who you lost last year, they weren't only big-time leaders for the defense, they were leaders of this entire team. Yep. Do you see people ready to step into the roles that Christian and Clee and those guys have?
Yeah, we've got a few of those. We do. We've got a few of them, but not as many. That was just a very unique team, and not only was it unique in that aspect, but they loved that part of where they were in their journey. I mean, they loved it. They loved saying, "Coach, I got this." Because they could. I would sometimes I wouldn't have. They knew what was coming, and it would be like, "Hang on, Coach, we got it," and then they'd go handle it. And that's pretty cool. When it's you've been around a group and they are so bought into what you do and believe in what you do, they want to enforce it so you don't have to, and that's pretty cool. We don't have as much of that, but we've got some really, really strong, committed program guys that I'm super proud of. A guy like Kayvon, a guy like Skowski, a guy like Nolan, Denzel, and AJ. And AJ is a great leader. Just super excited. Tanner Muse. These guys have done a phenomenal job of leading, and they're well respected on both sides of the ball. And then you flip over and you look at Ankrum, and Pollard, and Cervinka, and John Simpson. These are grown men. Not as flashy as Clee and Christian and that crowd, but highly respected and believe in what we do and how we do it. They've had a lot of success, and then you look at a guy like Travis, who I still think of as a young guy, but he's a junior, and he's carries himself differently than he ever has, and because he's not as y'all know, he doesn't say a whole lot, but the change in him, because I think his awareness of looking around the room and going, there's Chiz and there's Dude, man, I'm gonna have to I gotta lead this group. They don't know anything. And I think his self-awareness of that, of not only what he's got to do, but providing that, it's been fun to watch. Same thing with T. Same thing with Amari. Trevor, you know, he's in a completely different place right now than he was this time last year, and so, you know, it's good. You don't have to be a senior to be a leader, or to be a guy that pulls other people along the way and believes or buys into what you're doing from a program standpoint. So I think we're a little different, but when it's all said and done, you know, we'll be a close team. You know, we've still got to develop that chemistry.
Yeah, but what are your takeaways from the trip you took this
To Italy? Amazing. I mean, it was, I was telling you last night, just a life-changing experience for me. You know, I've never been out, you know, I've been in the Bahamas. I did get to go to Toronto, but you know, all that's kind of attached to America, right? You know, I never like, you know, I think of out of the country. Europe that's out of the country to me. It really was a life-changing thing, just from a cultural standpoint, just historical, just seeing. I mean, they got chairs older than America over there. You know, we think about whatever 300 years or whatever. I mean, it's just phenomenal to see Rome, to see Florence. It's mine and Cass' 25th anniversary, and we took our family. We were able to go to Italy this summer, and went to Rome and Florence and Portofino and down in different areas. But it was just to see things that were built and how they were built and crafted all these years ago, to go to the Coliseum that was built in year 80. It's fascinating to me, you know, just how smart people had to be, you know, architecturally, engineering. I mean, it's not like, you know, they didn't have CAD machines and computers, and they just, how about power? They didn't have that, you know, and just it was pretty amazing experience. And then the diversity of, it's almost like South Carolina and Georgia, you know, different countries, different languages. So it was a really amazing trip and an experience for me and Kath and our boys, and we took my mom and stepdad and her parents. Just an awesome 11 days.
Coach, so much of the preseason has been about Trevor, Travis, Justin. Do you feel like T. Higgins is a little bit under the radar going into this season?
I mean, maybe you guys, nobody we play, he's not going to be under the radar of any of them. I'll guarantee you that. Yeah. Is that Albert Huggins? What's up, Huggy?
I got a question, Coach.
What's up, Huggy Bear?
You know, all the guys.
Can you get a 6th year? We could use you one more year. I mean, I know you're busy.
Nah, man. But though, you know, last year the D-line was so deep, man. You know, how much are you going to miss those guys? Even though I know you got more guys coming in that can take their place, how much are you going to miss those guys?
Yeah, that's a great question, Huggy. You know, I had a great meeting with your D-line coach, by the way, when I was out in Houston.
Yes,
I'll fill you in on that. But as I was just saying, I think we can replace talent. You know, I think we have really talented young players, but replacing the experience, the knowledge, the nuances, you know, the game within the game, there's no greater teacher than experience. And those are the things that you just don't replace. You have to grow into that. And, you know, some of it you just got to learn as you go. But I do think we've got great talent, and we've got some guys eager. We're just not as deep. You know, we've got good depth, talent-wise, but we don't have experience depth. Whereas last year, just the opposite. I mean, we're rolling NFL guys in there. I mean, you got Dexter and Christian and Huggins. And, I mean, these guys these are veteran guys and just experienced. And just now you take Niles out and there's a true freshman walking on the field, and he hasn't played a snap. So just a different type of experience, but really talented. We just got a lot to teach them. You know, lots to teach them, but no different. Those guys were all freshmen too at one time. They were all young bucks, and they all hung in there and did pretty good. See ya, Huggy. I need a hug from you. Yeah. Garrett won't be back. I'm not sure he's decided 100% what he's going to do as far as military and all that. But he's not. He won't be back playing football.
Did he get banged up this summer?
He did. He's doing good. Yep, he's doing good.
Coach, last year you had the luxury of 3 veteran running backs, and then you had Dixon as well. With losing Tavian, what does that mean to the depth of the running back position?
Well, I mean, it's a big loss. I mean, he's 3's better than 2. You know, it's kind of the way I see it. I don't think you can have too many great backs, and he was a great player for us. But you just got to look at it as a senior. I mean, he did graduate. He's going to graduate. So senior moving on, you got to replace those guys. And we're very fortunate that we've got young talent. Lynn J has got a chance to be. I mean, he had great moments last year, but he's going to be a really good player. So I think it starts there with Travis and Lynn J, and then we got to figure it out. Darren Rencher's back. We're really fortunate to have him. He'll be a junior and a young man we put on scholarship, and he's a very productive player for us. So he'll take advantage of his opportunity, and then you figure it out with Ches and Duke. So see where those guys are, and hopefully both of those guys, or one of them, can contribute like Lynn J did last year, can contribute like ETN did as a freshman, like Feaster did as a freshman. So it's no different than any other year. You know what you're starting with, and that's a pretty good spot to start with ETN and Lynn J and Darian, and then you hope that one of those freshmen or both of them can be good contributors.
Do you feel like Lynn J has done a pretty good job in the weight room?
Oh yeah. Oh man, he doesn't even, from where he was this time last year to now. I mean, it's just amazing. It really is amazing to see how these guys change and mature and develop. I mean, he's a different guy, and that will show. He'll have a phenomenal year.
Dabo, you mentioned.
Seems like Trevor and Justin obviously had great freshman years. What do they need to do?
Hot last year, but I think endurance-wise, he hit a little wall. I think, and then he kind of pushed through it and finished well. He started strong, and like I said, it's just a lot. But I think his endurance, his mindset, and understanding of the whole year, I think that's the biggest thing with him. I mean, he's worked really hard. He was technically in a really good spot when he got here, but just applying the knowledge that he got from last year, and really, he made some great plays, but it's the things that you didn't see, where as a coach you're like, okay, he's a freshman. We got to be beyond that. Things without the ball. And then from Trevor's standpoint, I think the number one thing was just physically taking another step, and he's done that. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen him, but he looks great, man. He's really done a nice job with his body. And the same thing is just, he wasn't in a bad place. He was ahead of most freshmen. But now you can just tell physically he's in a much different spot. And then asserting himself as the leader. This time last year he's just trying to get in line and go win a job. Now we need him to be the leader. And so those are the first two things. And I would say the third thing is just from a pure football standpoint. I mean, there's lots of things that we went through the film, and critical from a very detailed standpoint, just some footwork things and some ball handling things that we can improve on. He did a great job taking care of the ball. He didn't throw many interceptions, but for me personally, I want to see him make more plays with his legs. And I don't mean, breaking long runs. I just mean extending some plays. And you saw a little bit of that in the spring game, extending some plays because he's dangerous when he can buy some time and you almost get some scramble situations. He's dangerous. And we got guys that you just can't cover forever. And he can put the ball, he can throw the ball left, right, and so there's some explosives there that I think we could take, where I think last year there was a few times where I thought he just kind of hung in the pocket too long, and there were some times where I felt like he should have run. And he got better at that as the year went. And so I just think him making a few more plays with his legs, both by extending the play and creating passing lanes and explosives, and also just take the 5 yards and get down and let's keep moving, and not just sitting there because he's so confident in his ability to make whatever throw, and he's confident in his guys. But sometimes, let's make it 3rd and 5 instead of 3rd and 10. By just that little better decision on 2nd down and take that 5 yards. And so I think that's just part of the process. But he's in a pretty good place. He had a heck of a freshman year.
Did Trevor talk to you at all? Did Trevor talk to you at all about the Manning camp? That must have been
He did.
Fantasy camp for him.
He did, and I actually heard from Peyton, heard from Archie. They both personally reached out to me and really appreciated him coming, and were very complimentary. And I think, and vice versa from Trevor. Trevor he really enjoyed it. It was a great experience for him to be around those guys and have time to spend with people like that have been there and really give him some good wisdom.
Dabo, you mentioned KJ requesting the red shirt last night. Could you kind of take us through again how blown away you were when he came to you with that?
Yeah, and I told his dad that too. I hadn't had many guys in my coaching career that are playing, even especially as freshmen, that he wasn't playing a lot, but he was playing some, and I think would have played more as the season went. But it's really neat to see a young person have that self-awareness and also have a big picture view, a long-term view of what they want to do and what it's going to take to get there. And but yeah, it was after that. I think it was after the Wake Forest game, and he'd had a really good game and made some plays, and he was just like almost excited. Okay, that's my 4th game, and I got to get in the weight room, coach. I really need power hour. I need to get in the weight. I know the type of player I can be, and I know what I need to do. And I think him looking at Clee, him looking at Austin every day, and he saw where he was just from a strength standpoint. He was like, I want to be ready. I want to be ready this spring. I want to be way further along next fall. And so it was an interesting conversation to have. Like I said, with a freshman just getting here who's kind of playing, who's a 5-star recruit and all that stuff. And he's like, here's what I need. I need to get in there and grind in that weight room. And that's why he'll be a very good player. Because he knows what it takes, and he's willing to do what it takes, and it worked out. As I told him in that meeting, I can't. If that's what you want to do, all right, we'll try to do it. But this just means barring no injuries. If we have some injuries, we're gonna have to get you back on the field. But if we don't have any injuries, then we'll hold you. And so it worked out great, and he got some good experience. That's what I love about that rule. Here's a guy that got some really good experience and kind of got a taste of it, but yet he was still able to redshirt and get in that weight room and get strong.
And it totally caught you off guard, though?
Yeah. Oh, that totally caught me off guard. Yeah, I didn't see that coming. That was totally came from him.
You've mentioned that